Hi everybody, welcome back to Grandpa's Story Time. Boy, it's been a while, and Grandpa was very busy trying to get stuff done. This spring it rained almost every day, and we've just had some good weather now, so we got the pool open, we got the garden going on the back deck, and Grandpa hasn't had time to go to the library, so he's going to read you a collection of life stories. By who? By me, Anthony Brigandi, your grandpa, all right? So I'll read you a couple stories from this, of my life stories, and I got a couple of different ideas. I'm going to take you to see where Grandpa was born and the house that he was raised in, and show you around this town, okay? Now, the first story, the first chapter. What was your mom like when you were a child? I'm going to read 2 chapters today, okay? Looking back, when I became a teenager, my mom was only in her early 30s, and she looked like a movie star. I know I say that a lot, but it's true. She worked in a beauty salon. She would get dressed up to the nines to go to work. I could tell she loved it. She loved to walk as her main exercise and would eventually compete as a fast walker. No, we're only doing this. Clyde, stop it. Come here. She played the guitar and was always very popular at all the parties we would go to. I remember a lot of sing-alongs. I'm not sure why she stopped playing, but another artistic hobby was probably the answer. And by the way, she just took up playing the guitar again. My friends would always try and get me riled up by saying how beautiful my mom was, and I would puff out my chest and say, "Don't talk about my mom." But she really was beautiful. My mother never had an ounce of prejudice in her body. She was loving and caring to everyone she met. She was the youngest of all her brothers and sisters and had to try to keep her family close for a very long time. But people passed and family moved until there were only a few left. I remember waking up in the morning and hearing Johnny Mathis on the stereo, or smelling a pot of sauce on her stove. Her house was always immaculate. I remember when our pool collapsed, she would always have a small pool on her patio to cool us off. My mom was always on my side. Even when I was wrong, she would stand by me. If I drank too much, my mother would pick me up, and when I had a fight as a child, she was the one to take me to the doctor and nurse me back. I'm like my mother in a lot of ways, and I'm happy for that. She has so many amazing qualities, and I am happy to have gotten any of them. Even at 80, it would be hard to find a woman more beautiful than my mom, both inside and out. I had a great childhood filled with great memories with my mom, and I'm so lucky that she lives next to me and I could see her whenever I want. There's a picture of my mom. I think she probably was in her late 30s, early 40s there. There's a couple more pictures. I'll read this book to you slowly, so this way you'll have a copy of it online, all right? Talking to my grandchildren. Did you have a job while you were in high school? In high school, I worked in the pizza place closest to the high school, Patricia's Pizza, owned by Joe Ardieri. I worked with the Sparta brothers and Freddie Menacchi. Everyone would come through those doors at least once a week. The police, all the teachers, all the students in the high school. There wasn't anyone that one of us didn't know in this town, and as a result, everyone knew our names too. My name growing up was Briggs, or Briggsy, and that's what everyone called me. I can remember being called down to the office as Briggsy and looking around the class with a smile on my face, knowing that whatever trouble I had gotten into, the person I had gotten into it with didn't really know my real name. Most of the people I hung around had nicknames or went by just the first name, and some of the names were very colorful. I can remember names like Chump, Monkey, Zag, Critter, Bones, T-Bone, Dell, Loopy, Muss, Putty, JP, Animal, Light Bulb. I could probably think of 100 more. Anyway, back to my job. I don't think I would change a thing. if I could go back, I would do the same thing. But if I could go back in time and have my older self talk to my younger self to try to move around the known roadblocks ahead or provide a stock tip or two, it wouldn't have mattered because my younger self wouldn't have listened anyway. I put a picture of my car I have up here, and we called it the One Ball. And me and BJ, hey, there's another nickname I forgot about. Like I said, there were 100, but only one BJ. Well, me and the B, we would get hailed like a cab in New York City all the time. I'll show you a picture of the car and you'll see why. One of my favorite memories from work was when my boss and all his friends were going on a golf trip to Myrtle Beach. There were 20 friends going, and they all gave me $10 and told me to play the pick 3 for them with a local bookmaker. All playing the same number, their flight number. $200 on the number, and it hit, 100K. They were happy campers collecting that bet when they got home. I also remember Joe taking us to Little Italy late at night for dinner. We used to walk through the kitchen of certain restaurants, and Joe knew everybody. And he'd order our food before we even sat down on the way in. Great memories from Patricia's Pizza growing up. All right, well, that was Grandpa's story time for today. I read a couple of stories for you guys, and like I said, I got some different things. By the way, today and tomorrow I'm heading upstate. I'll try to stop in for a Grandpa's story time while I'm up there. There's a music festival I'm going to, Brian's Backyard Music Festival. I go every year if I can, and I'm gonna show you a little bit around up there. Okay? All right. Grandpa's out, and he loves you guys very much. Take care now.